My world shattered on a Tuesday. I remember the exact day because it was the day I had planned a surprise for him. For us. I spent the afternoon baking his favorite lemon drizzle cake, the scent filling our small apartment, a home I thought was built on love and trust. We had been married for 5 years, together for 8. John was my rock, my best friend, the person I told everything to, or so I thought. The first crack in my perfect world appeared a few months ago. It was subtle, almost unnoticeable. He started working late more often. "Big project at the office," he'd say, ruffling my hair as he dropped his briefcase by the door, smelling faintly of a perfume that wasn't mine. I brushed it off. I was a supportive wife after all. His career was important. Then came the guarded phone calls, the way he'd angle his screen away from me, the sudden password on his laptop that he claimed was for work security. Each time, a small alarm bell would ring in the back of my mind, but I'd silence it with excuses. I trusted him. I had to. Doubting John felt like doubting the sun would rise. It was a fundamental truth of my existence. My friends would gently probe, "Is everything okay with you and John? You seem a little distant." I'd force a smile and say, "We're great. Just busy." I was lying to them, but mostly I was lying to myself. The fear was a tiny seed, but I refused to water it. I was convinced that if I ignored it, it would wither and die. I couldn't have been more wrong. That Tuesday, I waited for him, the cake sitting on the counter, a single candle ready to be lit. 8 o'clock came and went. Then 9. I called his phone. Straight to voicemail. I texted. No reply. A knot of anxiety tightened in my stomach. By 10, the anxiety had morphed into a cold, hard dread. I started to imagine the worst. A car accident, a mugging, anything but the truth. Just before 11, I got a text. Not from John, but from a number I didn't recognize. It was a single picture. A picture of John, my John, with his arm wrapped around another woman. They were in a dimly lit bar, laughing, his head tilted towards hers in that intimate way he only ever looked at me. He was wearing the blue shirt I'd bought him for our anniversary. The world stopped. The air left my lungs. The picture was time-stamped just an hour before. He wasn't in a car accident. He wasn't working late. He was with her. My hands were shaking so badly I dropped my phone. It clattered on the kitchen tiles, the screen showing that devastating image. I sank to the floor, my back against the cabinets. It was like a movie, a scene you watch and think, that would never happen to me. But it was happening. And the pain was physical, a crushing weight on my chest that made it impossible to breathe. Suddenly all the little things, all the red flags I had so diligently ignored, came rushing back. The late nights, the secret phone calls, the faint scent of perfume, his sudden need for privacy. It wasn't a series of unrelated events. It was a pattern, a carefully constructed web of lies. I wasn't just a supportive wife. I was a fool. A blind, trusting fool. The truth didn't just dawn on me. It hit me like a tidal wave, pulling me under. He walked in just after midnight, humming a cheerful tune. He stopped when he saw me on the floor, my phone lying face up between us. The smile vanished from his face. He didn't even need to ask. He saw the picture. He saw the shattered look in my eyes. He saw our life, our future, broken into a million pieces on the kitchen floor. For a long moment, there was only silence. The kind of silence that's so loud it hurts your ears. He opened his mouth to speak, probably to spin another lie, to craft another excuse. But I held up a hand to stop him. For the first time, I didn't want to hear his voice. I didn't want his excuses. I just wanted the truth. Who is she? I asked, my voice barely a whisper, hoarse from unshed tears. He finally had the decency to look ashamed. He sat on the floor across from me, not daring to get any closer. "Her name is Clara," he said. "She's from marketing." The banality of it was almost comical. All my worst fears, all my sleepless nights, all boiled down to Clara from marketing. He told me it started a few months ago. coffee after a meeting, a harmless lunch. He said it just happened. That phrase, "it just happened," felt like a slap in the face. Betrayal doesn't just happen, it's a choice. A series of choices. He chose to lie. He chose to meet her. He chose to break my heart, every single day. He swore it was a mistake, that he loved me, that he wanted to fix this. He cried. I had seen my husband cry only twice before, at his father's funeral and on our wedding day. Seeing him cry now didn't evoke sympathy. It just made me feel empty. The man I loved, the man I had built a life with, was a stranger. I didn't scream. I didn't throw things. I wish I had. Maybe that would have been healthier. Instead, a chilling calm washed over me. I stood up, my legs feeling like they belonged to someone else. I walked to our bedroom and pulled a suitcase from the top of the closet. He followed me, begging, pleading. Please, Sarah, don't do this. We can work through this. There is no we anymore, John, I said, my voice steady, devoid of all the emotion that was raging inside me. You destroyed we when you chose her. I packed a bag with numb efficiency. A few clothes, my toothbrush, my laptop. Every object I touched was a memory, the sweater he bought me for Christmas. The book I was reading, with the bookmark he'd made me. I left it all behind. I couldn't take the memories with me. They were tainted now. As I stood at the door, suitcase in hand, I looked back at the apartment. Our home. The lemon cake was still on the counter, a sad, uneaten testament to a life that no longer existed. He was standing in the middle of the living room, looking utterly broken. A part of me, a tiny foolish part, wanted to run back to him, to believe his lies, to pretend this never happened. But I knew I couldn't. The trust was gone. And without trust, love is just a house of cards, waiting for the slightest breeze to come crashing down. My breeze was a hurricane named Clara. Walking out that door was the hardest and easiest thing I've ever done. Hard because I was leaving behind everything I knew, everything I loved. Easy because I knew I was walking towards my own survival. The first few weeks were a blur of tears and sleepless nights on my friend's sofa. I felt like a ghost, haunting someone else's life. Everything reminded me of him. A song on the radio, a couple holding hands, the smell of coffee. But slowly, very slowly, the sun started to peek through the clouds. I started therapy. I started talking about it, not just the cheating, but the slow erosion of my self-worth that had allowed me to ignore the signs for so long. I learned that his betrayal wasn't a reflection of my value but of his character. It wasn't my fault. I found a small apartment of my own. Painting the walls a bright, cheerful yellow felt like an act of defiance. I started doing things for me. I joined a hiking group. I took a pottery class. I made new friends who knew me as Sarah, not as John's wife. I was rediscovering the person I was before him and discovering a new, stronger person forged in the fire of heartbreak. It's been a year now. Do I still have bad days? Of course. Healing isn't a straight line. Sometimes a memory will catch me off guard and the ache will return. But it's no longer a crushing wave. It's just a ripple. I saw him once, across the street. He was with her. For a split second, my heart clenched. But then, I felt something else. Not anger, not sadness. It was pity. Pity for him, for what he lost. And then, a profound sense of gratitude. Gratitude that he set me free. My world shattered that Tuesday, but from the rubble, I built a new one. A world that is all my own. A world where I am the architect of my own happiness. And let me tell you, the view from here is beautiful. If you've ever been through something like this, know that you are not alone. The pain feels insurmountable, but it isn't. You are stronger than you think. Reaching out for help, whether it's to friends, family, or a professional, is a sign of strength, not weakness. Thank you for listening to my story. Please remember to take care of yourselves.